there are only so many ways to address a projected $1 billion shortfall in the state budget, and that's approximately what we're talking about. Whoever is elected here will be facing. You can cut staff and programs, you can pursue labor concessions, or you can raise taxes, or some combination thereof. So I was wondering, which of these options would you pursue, and can you offer any specific ideas?
Thank you. Once again, I have been a proponent that the legislature needs not to be part of the state retirement program. That's number one. And I'd like to say, if you look after your pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. We are looking for 900 million, 800 million solutions when we need to look at 30, 40, 20 million dollar solutions. I'll give you a prime example. Several years ago, a layer of administration was added to the community colleges and the CSUs. That was supposed to save money because administrators on the 4 CSU's campuses and the community colleges were supposed to be eliminated. That has not happened. The governor said with the CBAC agreement that we were going to save $1.1 billion over 20 years, yet no one can tell me to date how much we've actually saved. We may have 5,000 less state employees, which is a number I cannot verify, but as far as the total budget, we are still spending a lot of money on that.
Senator Osten.
Thank you very much. We do have 5,000 fewer employees, and neither my colleague or I need to verify that. The Office of Fiscal Analysis, the nonpartisan budget overseer in the General Assembly, is the one that has done that. In regards to the question, I believe that you asked where could we look for savings, either state employees or programs. I would say that we would go through the budget similarly to what we just did. We cut $1.5 billion out of this last year's budget. Is actually less than the previous year's budget. We cut another $1 billion out of the bonding package, another savings for the state. I would treat the next budget as we did this one, going line item by line item by line item, looking for those pennies, those dollars, and larger savings. In particular, I would look in the transportation line items to effect some savings there. We have always looked line item by line item, and I think that that's the way to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Ms. Crouch, you get another 30 seconds on this issue.
I think if you look at line items and you look at what we spent last year, so we're going to add or decrease from that, we need to go to zero-based budgeting. We also need to prioritize what's happening in the state and fund to those priorities and make sure that is happening. We no longer can be everything to everyone. For example, this legislative session, we basically christened a new state agency, one that is going to handle private retirements, House Bill 5591. Our current state retirement system only generated 0.35%. So why would we get into the business of handling private retirement when we can't handle state retirement?
Thank you. And another 30 seconds just for Senator Osten to respond to zero-based budgeting, the idea of basically starting from scratch, not assuming any program is necessary or should be continued as it is. But we hear this almost every election session. Could you talk about your opinion on that approach?
Sure. We already do. We already look at every program through the results-based accountability and make sure that it's affecting the correct needs of that particular program. We've eliminated programs, and we've increased some programs based on what they were affecting for change. In regards to the retirement security plan, I supported it. I support it today. It provides 600,000 people with an ability to get a retirement plan, and the management of that is not a state agency. That management of that program will be paid for through the funds raised through that retirement security. It is still in the planning stages, and that's what that piece of legislation did.
Thank you. And 30 more seconds we could to Ms. Crouch, if you wanted to respond to what you heard in the defense of that program.
What I heard is that 6,000 people don't have access. What I see is there's no study that says that. We have banks, we have financial institutions, we have private sector people who do Roth IRAs, who do regular IRAs. I contend that because we've been taxed so much, we don't have money to adequately fund our retirement. So if we looked at reducing taxes on working families, then maybe there would be money left over at the end of the week to invest in our retirement. Thank you.
Right.
If I could just correct, it's not 6,000, it's 600,000, and it was well studied. Thank you.
Next question to Senator Osten.